The boy. So I made a previous video about this game, and tabletop game, and I said that uh, market adjacent IPs should exist, right? Because you have Warhammer 40k going in the shitter, and people are like, well, you know, since 40k doesn't want me as a consumer anymore, I guess I'll jump ship. Ain't that right, Lucy? Lucy. She's like looking at me like, what the fuck? But now we know that it doesn't matter where you go, right? People will jump to whatever. I'm gonna close that. People will jump to whatever IP that they see is becoming popular or they see as people coming in, and they'll shove their ideology. Look, you gotta understand, like, what people call the woke ideology and people that attribute to this label, right? They split the world between racist and non-racist. And if you're a racist, according to them, you don't deserve to have an IP. You don't deserve to have an IP to just enjoy. You don't deserve to have fun. And again, it doesn't matter if you're legitimately a racist or not, because I've been to college, right? I've seen people, been with people who are legitimately racist. Well, I guess would fit that definition. Like, I guess, for lack of a better term, a white supremacist. But this guy was like, well, I just legitimately believe there should be people, you know, thing like cultures for people that are from that culture, right? I believe white culture should exist as well as black culture as well as Asian culture. Like, there should be a space for cultures to exist. And I'm like, well, I mean, that's not unreasonable. I mean, I didn't really have an opinion at the time. But this guy would legitimately just be called a racist because if it's not inclusive, and again, inclusivity is primarily this American middle upper class academic culture that doesn't resonate with the rest of the world. Like, it doesn't even resonate with the majority of Americans, right? There's the specific type of American that has 40, 50, 60 grand in student loan debt while going to college, and they have like a lesbian art coordinator, dance coordinator degree, which noble profession, right? But where on earth are you going to apply that? And you have like gender studies major, so people who've studied woman, right? Because the woman is a phenomenon that needs to be studied, need to be smack them books to study woman, and they believe they know better than your mother. They believe they know better than your grandmother. They believe they know better than you. Someone again in this specific situation, who plays games, who plays these IPs, right? And they're like, no, you're a stupid fucking idiot, right? You need to listen to me, right? And I declare who is and isn't racist because I'm anointed by the holy academia. It's literally the same level of shame and the same level of persecution that Christians used to do like 60 years ago. But I mean, at least in the Christian mindset, if you are a legitimate Christian, you believe that what you do here on earth doesn't really matter, and people who are Christians and are actually legitimately cool to be around just strive to personally be the best they can be, while you have the evangelicals that believe they need to impose their values on everybody else because they're fighting this moral crusade. Again, the people part of this ideology, the woke ideology, believes this exact same thing. And then again, I try explaining this to a couple of people that I went to college with. It's like, I know quite a few people who were Christians, or at least were fine with the idea, but they hung around the goofy ass, annoying evangelicals and were 100% turned off. And it's like, well, why the fuck would I want to be around these types of people? It's like, yeah, legitimately, like, oh yeah, I mean that makes sense. And but people, the woke, I like the person who's all for social justice, all for Black Lives Matter, all for Hamas, like that they don't believe anybody that's part of this ideology would act the same way, right? And it's these people who believe they're on this holy crusade through the internet, because again, they don't create things to counter this idea. They don't make political parties. They don't, hold political rallies. They go clickety clack on the keyboard, and they believe they can impose their morality on everybody. And again, companies believe that these are the consumers, right? These are the useful idiots that will fight their battles for them online. So, companies are like, oh yeah, we're all for inclusion. We're all for feminism. We're all for Black Lives Matter, right? Will that shut y'all the fuck up? Will that shut y'all individuals the fuck up? And they're like, yeah, yeah. And then, hey, we'll even go after, again, absolute fucking nobodies who just want to enjoy a hobby, right? Just want to enjoy a video game and shit on them. And that's what's happening. That's what happened with Shrimp Crusaders, right? You had Atis being like, hey, buddy, since 40K is being weird, might I interest you in something called Trench Crusader? And again, you have people coming on being, and I don't see it on this tweet, but you have people being like, let's not have any weirdo chuds get into this IP like they got into 40K and got mad because there are women in it. It's like, this is exactly what the fuck I'm talking. Like, they will seek you out, right? These people who are on this ideological inclusivity crusade will seek you out and tell you that, and be like, no, you should not enjoy this, right? Because I deemed you Mr. Racist, Mr. Sexist, Mr. Transphobe, and you are just simply not allowed to consume this, and you're not allowed to have something to have fun, right? And they legitimately seek you out, right? If you say anything against this, right, in certain communities, and like you have the community managers who think this exact same way, that will ban you, right? And again, the market doesn't want this. The market just wants to sit in their fucking mom's basement and play fucking Trench Crusader, play a goddamn tabletop game, right? Like, they just want to sit in their fucking house in the sanctity of their own home and play a fucking game. But no, the ideological people who are on this crusade will seek and be like, no, you're not allowed to sit in your mom's basement and enjoy this. You are not allowed, right? Because we deem you the weirdo chud, and there's a specific type of person who uses the word chud. And, if I was to express how I feel about that person, YouTube would absolutely smack me down with a terms of service violation. But you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, I don't need to hyper analyze this type of individual, right? I don't need to write a thesis on the type of individual who uses the word chud, who uses the word weirdo, right? You just see them go after like Stellar Blade, or you see them go after people who play like Nikkei, right? They go after people like the Japanese artists who draw in IPs that are doing better than the Western entertainment industry. Like, these people go out of their way to go after not only the producers of this entertainment, but the people who like this entertainment. And again, like what's happening with Trench Crusaders, because people are stepping away from Warhammer 40K because they're like, oh, well, it turns out a Creative Assembly, or what is it, Games Workshop? It turns out Games Workshop that doesn't want me here. Like, that they lied to me and told me, oh, there's always been female Space Marines, right? Because the company has always wanted to go woke. They always wanted the ESG fund, but 40K was the last bastion, right? And they're trying to ease their way into it, and then they straight up lie to you, right? And I'm gonna make another video, but they go after, another YouTuber, someone who's been in Gamergate, in this sort of online zeitgeist, well, this war against IPs that's waging on. And, people are sick of it. Like, people are becoming conscientious consumers. And they're being like, oh, well, I guess if you don't want me here, I guess I'll just move and go to somewhere else. But then you have the ideologically charged individual who uses the word chud, who has pronouns in the bio, who has the blue hair. They'll come after you and be like, oh no, you shouldn't enjoy this. Like, I declare that you should not enjoy this IP. You should not have fun. And they act surprised when people like me come out and tell them to kiss my ass, right? And they go straight schizophrenic, and they do in like what's happening with grooms. They go out of their way to contact their personal like family members and talk to them and try to dox them. Like this is the type of people that companies like Games Workshop, right? The woke companies curate, right? And you only need a couple of these individuals. Like, you don't need everyone to act like this. You only need a couple of individuals for people to be like, so why the fuck are they here? Again, these people, they don't participate in the IP. Like, they claim they're gamers. They claim they like the IP, but they don't want the people they don't like to also like it. It's just this weird ideological battle being waged here. And again, I probably don't do the best in describing it. Like, I'm trying my best. But it's one of those things that you don't really need a full paragraph explanation to see, right? You just use your own eyes and you're like, oh, I see. This is what people are talking about when they say the word woke. Because again, you have people like, and I like this, I like him. You have people like Moist Critical, when he sees the word woke, his brain shuts the fuck off. And he's like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Yeah, I ain't talking shit, but I mean, but these are the type of individuals that people are talking about. Like, again, every person from the barbershop to the bus driver to the online fucking foot fetishist knows what this means. Even the people who 100% fit the description, but they'll pretend they don't know what the fuck you mean. Oh, okay, yeah, I see. I see what's going on here. I see the deception that's going on. But anyway, I mean, that's all. And again, this IP, it looks cool, right? It's like, I think the idea is you have the Crusader, like, after the Crusade, you have, like, a couple of Crusaders open the gates of hell, and now they're fighting against demons, and it's more of a World War I situation. And these are the good guys, right? You have the hands nailed to the shield, right? And these are the good guys, but what are the alternatives? Demons that want to flay you alive and force you to fight in their army with said flayed skin as a fucking whip. It's like, okay, it's supposed to be grim dark. It's supposed to be, not a very good world to live in, but it looks cool, right? You have the tattered crucifix monuments, the many of crucifixes on the battlefield and the artillery and the planes. Like, this looks fucking amazing. But what's happening with the community managers and them banning people is ridiculous. And I've already said about all I needed to say about that, so, it's just the way it's going to have to be. Like, they're turning people away from the IP, just period. Like, before it even sits and ruminates, people are like, okay, if this is how the community managers, if this is how the IP wants to treat me, I guess I'm turning away from this too. and you think you can just move to another one and be fine, but no, they will seek you out. Like they're on this ideological crusade through the internet, and then they will come and find you. So this is why I say, gatekeep the fuck out of the things you want. You know. I used to not have this opinion, but now I see all these IPs going to shit, and I'm like, no, yeah, maybe gatekeeping is the good thing. But that's all I gotta say about this. See ya.